Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market stream. Today is another fantastic day to talk about Bitcoin and crypto. Of course, Bitcoin's parabolic phase, the next bull run is just getting started. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about some macro stuff, some crypto news, some alts that are doing fantastic. Let's talk about everything today. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. We are starting out a day. Let me bring the price back up at 104. Looking good. We're still at this 104 mark. We haven't broken above to 105 and beyond, but it's just a matter of time. Bitcoin is strong, extremely strong right now, and it does seem like the macro environment is improving, which can't hurt, right? And of course, yesterday we had a pretty good day all around, not just for Bitcoin, but for a lot of the altcoins out there. So that's why if you guys watched my video yesterday, I went through a various amount of them, hoping that you guys got something out of that. But let's see. This morning we are starting out the day pretty green. NASDAQ especially plus 100. And yesterday I talked about Coinbase being, they didn't get listed yet, but the announcement of Coinbase being added to S&P 500, which is coming next week, made them shoot up 24%, and they're still in the green today. For the most part, most things are still in green today, so that's good. Let's see where things go. And yesterday, we did have a good inflation reading, surprisingly, showing inflation came in less than expected. So those are great things. Treasury Yields should be going up. It went down a little bit. So there's still people that are afraid, a little bit afraid of, the macro stuff. But things are improving. There's super chat right there. Bitcoin 150K. Thank you. Maybe. Right around the corner. But, this is good. Starting today, obviously, because of this trade war ceasefire, this 90-day ceasefire, China will reduce the tariffs on U.S. goods down to 10%. The ones coming into the U.S. is down to 30%. So both sides are talking. So that's obviously really good. And we're waiting for a full deal to be announced. And if so, it's going to drive markets higher. Really, really, really much higher. But that's just one country. Of course, there's many countries, right, that we're still waiting for deals to be made. So yeah, it was all good. Now, those that are waiting for a rate cut, though, even though yesterday Trump again said, hey, Fed Chair Powell, inflation didn't go up, go cut the rates. Unfortunately, if you're looking at the percentage, it actually dropped down even more because the better the stock market does, generally speaking, the worse the rates get in terms of a cut. So now the next FOMC meeting, there's only 8% chance of a rate cut. And even if you go into July, there's only a 32% chance of a cut in July. We may have to wait all the way until September for the first cut, and that's at 51%. We will see. There's a lot of time between now and September. But, like I've been saying, if our investments are doing well and markets are roaring upwards, a lot of us don't really care for a cut because our crypto, our Bitcoin, our stocks, our options, our retirement funds or whatever are going up, then, that's good, right? But for vast majority of people out there that have no investments whatsoever, what they want to see is a cut. They want to see a cut, and that is what the U.S. wants to. That's what Trump wants as well. But yeah, looks like we're not going to get one anytime soon unless things really do a 180 and start heading back downwards. We'll see. We'll see. All right, what else is there? You know, in the crypto front, there's rumors that, hey, maybe we get rid of capital gains tax on crypto. This would be absolutely huge. He can't do it himself. This needs congressional approval. But, you know, we know Trump is all in on crypto, him and his family, okay, especially the Trump family. I don't know if he's actually aware of any of the things that's happening, all the moves that the Trump family is making with crypto. But he's definitely embracing it and endorsing it. But, yeah, if he could get this pulled off, this will be a game changer, okay? A lot of other countries out there, not a lot, a few countries out there has no capital gains tax on crypto or investments. And, you know, a lot of crypto people I talk to go to them. But if America implemented this, this would be a huge game changer. A lot of companies will establish here. A lot of people will come here just from this simple fact. So we'll see. We'll see if this gets done. And we're still all waiting for that Bitcoin reserve to start implementing some kind of purchase plan, buy plan, right? To purchase that 1 million Bitcoin. There are a lot of things in play that we're looking forward to, right? So good things coming. Let's see. ETF inflow yesterday. Finally, we had an outflow, and that's only because we had a zero inflow into BlackRock. BlackRock, for however many weeks, nothing but tremendous amount of inflow, except yesterday. They took a break yesterday, and that's the only reason why we had an outflow, all from Fidelity for some reason. That's okay. But we had many weeks of inflow, and I suspect that will continue, especially with, again, all the things that are going on. And Larry Fink does not want to lose to Strategy. Okay, Strategy, Michael Saylor, one of the darlings of Wall Street now because of his Bitcoin strategy. Okay. Financial Times came out with a new documentary. It's like a 30-minute documentary they released on X. I did not watch the whole thing. I watched snippets of it, but it's actually quite interesting. It starts out with this reporter saying that she shorted MicroStrategy, and it turned out to be the worst mistake she's made in her portfolio. It's kind of like shorting Bitcoin. It's something that you don't want to do. You don't short Bitcoin and you don't short Strategy for the same reason. And, you know, it goes into it and explains all the reasons why Saylor and MicroStrategy believes in Bitcoin, what Bitcoin is, and all these interviews and stuff. Again, I didn't watch the whole thing, but it does look like it's a good thing. When you have a chance, watch it, and I will watch it too. But interesting things that were said from this is Saylor believes that Strategy will become the very first $10 trillion company because of investments in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin will hit $13 million by 2045, which is 20 years from now. But within the next 10 years, it will certainly hit 1 million. But then after that, the next 10 years after that, things accelerate. But because of these investments, Strategy will hit 10 trillion market cap. And they believe they will do so because they hold more Bitcoin than anyone else by a long margin. And that's the reason why BlackRock doesn't want to stop, because they don't want to lose out on Strategy. But here's the interesting thing. BlackRock owns a large portion of Strategy too. So in a way, they're not really losing if Strategy wins. I think they'll hold like 15 or 20% of strategy shares. So it's a win-win scenario for BlackRock either way, but it's definitely a win-win scenario for Saylor. So, and everyone is paying attention. Sooner or later, you know, he's been doing a lot of like presentations for Microsoft board and others. Sooner or later, they will capitulate and they will listen. Kind of like the Dave Ramsey show. Although it's not Dave Ramsey himself saying it. Dave Ramsey over the years had ridiculed how bad Bitcoin is as an investment. A lot of people listened to him and stayed away from Bitcoin, even though Dave himself have heard of Bitcoin all the way back from 2013. And he pretends like he's never heard of it. Every time someone asks him about it, he's like, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's going to stay around year over year over year, every cycle, every cycle, every cycle. Costs a lot of people a lot of money by getting them away from Bitcoin. Finally now, 2 of his staff members have capitulated and said, Bitcoin is here. It's arrived. It should be part of a diversified strategy. They're not talking bad about it anymore. It's not Dave himself, but you know what? If his staff are saying it, it's just a matter of time. He's going to say it and he's going to capitulate, right? One after another, all the naysayers, besides Peter Schiff, he'll never capitulate. Every single one is going to realize that there's just nothing bad you can say about Bitcoin anymore. All the things that you used to say or you could say before have gone away. It just, yeah. So again, one after another, everyone is coming around and turning to Bitcoin. Here's a prime example. One of the richest men from Mexico, one of the richest men in the world, his portfolio, 70% Bitcoin, 30% gold, nothing else. It's not like 70% gold and 30% Bitcoin. 70% Bitcoin. This is how billionaires become trillionaires. This is what I say, right? Thousandaires become millionaires. Millionaires become centimillionaires. Centimillionaires become billionaires. Billionaires become trillionaires by holding and DCAing into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a multiplier on people's wealth. At least a 10x. But over time, that 10x becomes 20x, becomes 100x, becomes a lot more. People don't believe it, but, when I first got into Bitcoin, it was below it. It just hit 1,000. It then went to $100 something. When I came back in 2017, Bitcoin was $1,000. It's over 100,000 now. That's 100x. It took some years, but still, that's 100x. Imagine the next 10 years. Imagine the next 20 years. That's another 100x waiting to happen. This is a billionaire, okay? Even billionaires, you would think, they don't care about money anymore, but they still believe in Bitcoin. Here we go. Another company. Buying Bitcoin, 21 Capital. This is the new one that Jack Mallers is heading. This is the one that's like a conglomerate between three different companies. I think SoftBank and Tether and someone else all together. I think this is it. Yeah. And they decided to buy $500 million worth of Bitcoin. It's not going to stop. in case you guys are wondering, the buying is not going to stop. This is why outflow from the exchanges continue to happen, okay, in a big way. The reserve is dropping in a big way. It doesn't ever stop. And that's why guys just have to be patient. Just HODL and DCA and let the gains come to you. No matter all the volatility, all the scariness, everything that we see on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, whatever, we get through it and then we head higher. Sometimes we have to wait a long time. I think a lot of you guys remember or don't remember anymore in 2024 how long we had to wait. 238 days of sideways movement before we broke out. More than half a year. Sometimes you have to wait. In 2023, we had to wait 192 days. Right now, we're 147 days from our previous top. Who cares if we have to wait a little bit longer, right? Then we go to the next top, and who knows where that is. So that you just gotta wait. You gotta have a little patience, that's all. All right, outside of Bitcoin, SEC is still deciding on various ETFs, Solana ETF, Litecoin ETF. I know there's the XRP ETF. There's a Doge ETF, Cardano ETF, Hedera ETF, AVAX ETF, SUI ETF. A lot of ETFs. It seems like the SEC is pausing a little bit. They want to make sure that all these projects are compliant. Okay? They meet key standards on investor protection and market integrity. So I think they're just kind of halting because they want to, Paul Atkins is still new. They're still trying to establish some of these frameworks, but it's just a matter of time. I think we're going to get all these ETFs in Q3 or Q4 this year. And it's going to be the right timing when the market's really hot. I think right around September, October is when we get that next huge push up. And that's when the ETFs come out, and it's going to be like an amplifier. So it's going to happen. It's going to come right at the right time. Yep. All right. That's pretty much it. Let's see. Today, market retracing a little bit. Maybe a little profit-taking day. Yesterday was really good, almost too good. Again, Coinbase went up like 23%, so a little profit-taking today is perfectly normal. Robinhood went up like 10% today and still green. And you have many others. Everything went up yesterday. Even MicroStrategy went up to yesterday like 5%, taking a little breather. So today could be a profit-taking day, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Let's do some Q&A. Oh, that's very dark. Someone is asking Vinicius, George, your thoughts on base chain? Do you think it'd be a Solana this cycle? No, I don't think so. First of all, there's no base coin, and second of all, there's not a whole lot of activity on base. So no, I don't think so. Nowhere close. I think what's the Solana this cycle is SUI. $120K in May. I think we're at that cusp. I still think we're gonna make big moves this week. Okay, it's only Wednesday. I think, you know, we keep pushing right to that 104.5. We have a lot of sell pressure right above. I think it's just a matter of time we break through it, and once we do and break that 110, we're heading to that next leg. That next leg up could be anywhere from 120 to 150. So I think that's where we are heading, and we're at the cusp of that. I just don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. All this buy pressure is leading up to something. Remember, there's only so many Bitcoin out there. Yeah, consensus going on right now in Toronto. You know, I was at consensus last year in Salt Lake City. It wasn't great. Let's just put it that way. So I don't know if the Toronto one right now, maybe it's much better. The Salt Lake City one was just not that great. Steven, do you think Bybit will legalize in U.S. under Trump's presidency? A lot of the exchanges, like Binance, KuCoin, Bybit, the big exchanges, they left because they were getting sued and because KYC requirements, all that stuff, right? There's a good chance they all come back to the U.S., I think. OKX now opened up to U.S. when before they didn't. So I think they may be working it out with the SEC. As long as they're compliant with KYC regulations, I think they'll be able to come back. I don't know. I haven't heard much of it, so I don't know if they're really concentrating on coming back. I would think so, but who knows? How long until XRP flips ETH? I don't know. ETH had a pretty good day yesterday, so that makes it a little bit tougher, but it's going to happen. XRP will flip ETH, and then Sol will flip ETH. Although a lot of people don't believe that or don't want to hear it, but if you're looking at all the measurable metrics, Sol is already ahead. So we'll see. But I guess there are a lot of people still love ETH. A lot of people love ETH. They cling on their ETH from 2021, so they don't want to give up. I think that's why we had a pretty good day yesterday. And you know, something else that I don't speak about a lot with ETH is they do have their own ETF. You know, they're not just one; they have many ETFs. They don't always have a lot of inflows. In fact, a lot of times they have outflows. BlackRock does not buy that much ETH. But when the market gets hot again, the ETH ETFs can help in a big way. Just like they will help the other crypto, ETH ETFs will help ETH once again. But I do like I mentioned in yesterday's video, I do like a lot of the ETH-based dApps. I think they're promising. Isaac, ETH pump with the beginning of all season. I don't agree with that. I think meme pumps may be the beginning of alt season. And we've been seeing a lot of that recently. Coinbase back in the green again. They're just so damn strong. After Coinbase gets added to S&P 500, it's a big game changer. There are Dave's Digital. There are companies that want to come out ETFs that have staking, so that it can give out the staking rewards. Because you're asking about dividends, but they want to include staking rewards within it. So that's kind of like what they're pushing for. But right now, I don't think they're not approved, but I think eventually they will be, because staking is now deemed non-security. Before it was. Crypto Moose. Do you recommend a degree in accounting, finance, or IT? Will AI take over these jobs? AI will take over big parts of all three. But I will say, out of the three, there are certain sectors of IT that I think are most promising. Accounting, anyone could do accounting. AI could certainly take over accounting, for sure. That's like 100% accounting could be taken over by AI. There's nothing difficult about accounting. There's new rules, but then AI could learn those new rules every year. Finance, pretty much the same thing. Although finance is very important to learn, you can learn that. You could be self-taught with finance. It really is about, there's many sectors of finance, obviously. Depends on what you want to do, but IT, very broad. A lot of the hardware stuff, obviously AI can't do until there's like robotics running around. But also I think like certain fields, obviously going to AI in IT, also security. I think security is going to be a big one. You go have AI resistant, hacking and all that stuff. Programming in IT, even though AI would take a lot of it, there will always be a need for programmers to do certain things. But hardware is going to be a big one. So I don't know. I think IT is the way to go. Question, is MSTY a good buy in your opinion? I don't know what MSTY is. Is it a MicroStrategy stock? What jobs will be least affected by AI? Manual labor jobs, plumbers and electricians. Plumber and electricians will become more and more scarce as we move forward, and they will be able to charge more and more for their services. In 20 years, in 30 years, plumbers and electricians will be like, they'll be as well paid as surgeons now. It'll be so scarce. Like, no one wants to do those jobs now. Those trades are becoming so scarce. MSTY is MSTR derivatives paying dividends. Is it like, there's like Strike and Strife. They're paying dividends. They're from MicroStrategy. So why don't you just look into those instead? Robotics will not take those jobs in the next 2 to 3 years. Robotics is still far away from a lot of those manual labor jobs. First of all, the battery technology has not improved. You'll never have like a AI or a robot that could like operate for more than like a few hours, because our battery tech just sucks. I don't know what it is. We can't improve upon batteries. We can only improve upon how fast they charge, but we can't improve upon how much charge a battery can take. I I'm no expert at batteries, but it's just like we can't do anything better than lithium ion right now. So we either pack more battery cells or we just make them charge faster. But we can't make them last longer. And it's been the same batteries for like 20 plus years. That's kind of weird. But yeah, AI robots or robots in general, they're still very far away from like doing human things. I've been hearing about that for a while. I've been seeing like, you know, was it Boston Dynamics and their robots or whatever. I've been hearing about how great they are and stuff like that, but it's been like 10 plus years and I still don't see them around. I'd be the one of the first to buy a robot if they offer them, but we're just nowhere close to it. If I could buy a robot to like go do my gardening or go wash my car, I would do it, but none exist. I do have my Roomba though. That's a little bit different. That's much easier. Although it still gets stuck in wires all the time, so it's not as smart as you think it is. Yeah, I have a Roomba. It's not called Roomba. It's called a Robo Rock or something. It actually vacuums and mops and it cleans everything. And it uses like AI technology to map out the rooms and stuff. It's like the best you can buy, and it's really good. But still, it like sometimes it sucks up like a cord or something, and it just gets stuck. You know, warehouse robots are different. Okay, warehouse robots much easier. They're not humanoid. What I'm talking about is humanoid robots. Like warehouse robots are basically like, you know, they lift things from one place to another and stuff like that. That's done. I'm talking about humanoid robots with hands that can do human stuff, that can lift things, especially delicate things like pick up your groceries, chop food, you know, rip open bags, wash your car. We don't have robots doing any kind of those kind of stuff, okay? Like manufacturing warehouse robots and humanoid robots are totally different things, in my opinion. Zen says BTC price is pie in the sky. If not, then why would you not put all your shitcoins back into Bitcoin? Well, because there's a time and place for it. There's a time and place when alts move faster than Bitcoin. So you want to take advantage of that. So you actually gain on Bitcoin. And then you put it all back into Bitcoin. Right? So when the market's weak, when there's weakness, you always want to stick with Bitcoin. But when altcoin season comes, why most people talk about altcoin season is because they outperform Bitcoin by a long margin. So you got to take advantage when the time comes. But for the most part, I've always said you got to have at least 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin because you just never know. We have extended droughts. We have these mini consolidation periods where Bitcoin just completely dominates all the time. Would you rather have a robot or human doing your surgery? It really depends. Right now, of course, we all say human. But have you seen those, like, in movies like Prometheus, right? I know it's a movie, but in the future, let's say 100 years in the future, you have a pod with these robotic hands, and it could basically do any kind of surgery you want perfectly. We will get to that point where you could just go in a pod, it will knock you out and do any surgery with 100% precision. That's going to happen. Not now, maybe not 20 or 30 years from now, but in 50 years, 100 years, I'm almost positive that will happen. We will have some kind of surgery pod or hands that will do everything basically. You guys should watch, if you guys haven't watched the latest season Black Mirror. Black Mirror season 7, I think. All the episodes are kind of, yeah, so-so. I think they're running out of ideas. But the very first episode really got to me. It was really sad. And I hate it. I really hated it. But I think, that could be how it is in the future. If you guys care about like futuristic tech and AI and all that stuff, watch the first episode of the new season. It's on Netflix. It was really sad. But it's, something that I could see corporations doing in the future. Lynn Lee, new member. Welcome. Yeah, it was a subscription episode. Yeah, the rest of the episodes of the season was not good. Even the finale one wasn't that good with the space quest thing. It wasn't that good. They're starting to run out of ideas. The first few seasons of Black Mirror were really good, and then they just like they're under too much pressure to perform, and I think they can't come out with original ideas anymore. Anyways, I can't get into Andor. I can't get into it. It's a side. I tried. It's just a side character, and I don't like Star Wars enough to care, so I never started. Um, I've been watching The Punisher again with my kids. It's been pretty good. Almost done with it. And I watched the new Daredevil. It's okay. Fire down below. Thoughts on Near Protocol? It's not bad. I think there are just better plays. I try to get Andor. I watch like the movie. Is it the movie? They came out the movie, right? I try to watch something of it, and then just like I just can't get into it. I even lost interest on Mandalorian, the last season of Mandalorian. I just got bored of it. It just doesn't appeal to me anymore. They need to just concentrate more on Vader stuff. That's it. That's all they need to do. That's the only thing I care about. The Obi-Wan show was fascinating to me because it showed Obi-Wan getting old, fighting I guess, a younger Vader, and he was still able to overcome him, obviously, before the periods of the movies. Like stuff like that is interesting. Everything else is like I really don't care about. All right. Anyways, on that front, I guess we can conclude. There's not much else to talk about. Do I ever use crypto bubbles? No. What's the point? What's the point? If you believe in a project, right, you go hold on to it, whether or not the bubble shows green or red. So what's the point of having those? I never understood that. You know, you could see, even CNC has it. It's not bubbles, but they have like these, what do they have it? They have this like heat map thing. I don't know where they hit it, but they have a heat map. But you know, it's like, doesn't really matter because what you like, what you're holding, you go hold no matter what. So anyways. All right, guys. I guess that's pretty much it. Overall, things are still warming up. A lot of great things happening. A lot of capitulation happening in a good way. When you have naysayers now capitulating and getting into Bitcoin, that's always a good thing. And we got a lot of other good things happening in this space, guys. A lot of good things happening in this space. So, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll put out a video for you guys tonight, DCA night, and have a good rest of your day. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.